Welcome back to the 2023 SIEDC Business Conference. We're joined by Shawnae Dixon here with us. Welcome.
What's going on?
We love to hear your story.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Woo Wednesday. Yes.
Wait, it's only Wednesday?
I love that Shawnee's wearing the jacket.
Yes,
love
happy
that.
Woo Wednesday.
Love
Protect your neck, respect the tech.
Wow. There you go.
There you go.
Now we got. Now I got
Respect the tech.
right.
He doesn't even understand what he's saying. He's a geek. What are you going to do?
Shawnae, we talked about building brands on here. You have a couple really unique brands. You got Say Grace, and you have Shawnee's Kitchen over in the North Shore.
Van Duzer Street, yes.
So I'm a former restaurateur, so talk to me restaurant. I want restaurant talk.
So I need to get to the point where I am restaurateur. Right now, I'm in the birthing stage. I'm delivering this new baby right here, Shawnae's house, 381 Van Duzer Street, Stapleton Heights area, which is considered the town where Wu-Tang was birthed, right? It's a soul food restaurant. I'm one of one here on Staten Island, and that is because there are no soul food sort of fine dining restaurants on Staten Island. I'm only saying fine dining because I put the right food on the right plates at the right time.
And that matters.
That matters, right? It's just that you can come in with jeans on and nobody's going to put their nose up at you.
You eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth.
That's right.
That's how it works. That's it. If it doesn't look good, it's not going to taste good.
Exactly. So my husband and I had that restaurant. Dan does his homework. We did have Say Grace Catering, and that was the catering business that kind of like ripped through the entertainment industry for about 5 or 6 years, where I had the ability to get in any room working with Little Kim, Danny Glover, Ed Norton, Charlamagne, Teddy Riley, anybody that
I
was
like how
out
you
there.
just say that as though commonplace.
That's
like
my
Jimmy,
place.
Johnny, Mike.
She was catering for the Dallas Cowboys.
I just finished with the Dallas Cowboys, so like I get into those rooms because the food is great.
But talk about that, right? So that from our standpoint, branding, marketing, that's kind of the pinnacle, right? That's the highest of the high of where people want to be,
right?
And you just spit out those names like Jimmy, Johnny, So, what does that mean? How did you take a brand from concept to then celebrity?
So the food is like they say, dope speaks for itself, right? So if you were taking Blue Magic, my food is like Blue Magic. It's like a drug, right?
See, again, Mike doesn't get that reference.
Right.
He left. He was so upset he had to walk away.
So I'm like the hitch of soul food. You have to know me.
Right.
And so my food spoke for itself immediately in the entertainment industry. When I was invited to the Breakfast Club and when I did Fox 29 in Philadelphia, Charlamagne picked me up right away, February 8th, 2016. And my name kind of like fled through the industry just through referrals. I didn't have a business card. I didn't have any marketing in place.
Once you do it once and do it right in that circle, that sphere is all you need.
That's it. So my marketing strategy was excellence is what serves people. And so I provided an excellent service. I provided an excellent product, and then I gave you my phone number personally from myself to you, watching you put my phone number in your phone, and then I told you, don't allow my phone number to become something that you don't remember later on. Use it.
Right.
And so people were calling me all the time, and it was just like, hey, Angie Martinez wants you. Can you come? Hey, can you do Little Kim's birthday party? Can you do DJ Drama's release party? Can you do Kevin Gates' party?
And now when you went in, did you go in with staff and people, or was it just the food and then they handled the rest?
One-man band. Me and my husband go in there like Peaches and Herb and just take over the whole spot. We put up everything. It was literally like building the blocks of like Tetris. We just put that thing together so well.
Learn as you go, right?
That's it.
He's just hanging over there.
He just chills.
He's the best.
Yes, that is my grizzly bear protection. He's a snuggle bear looking at you, but don't do anything.
I see.
Then
He's going to kill me right now. He's looking at me right now. He just. I'm on your team. He just scared me.
You got to talk to him like easy.
So there's the celebrity side of the business, but talk about your family. You have an incredible history here in New York and Staten Island, and how did that lead up to you cooking?
Right. So my grandmother was a dietitian with the Willowbrook institution for over 30 years. I'm an 8th generation direct descendant to the descendants of Sandy Ground. So that land is protected by every preservation organization in the world because it's the oldest inhabited space by its original descendants in the country. And it was, utilized by the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman did visit there. And so our people were doing things to, build and sustain a community of commerce, of community, of farming, oystermen, ferry systems, grand travel. And so that was happening, and that spilled over into the next 8th, 10th generations. I'm 8th generation, and my children are 9 generations. I'm teaching my children that you guys are not attending these schools as just students. You're attending the schools as entrepreneurs. And so you're teaching your teachers something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you're going into, I got to hurry up and get out of here at 3 o'clock because I got to go to work. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe that that's really important, especially for the Black community on Staten Island, because we're not as vibrant. We don't own businesses. We don't sustain ourselves. We don't figure out how to then become a part of economic development. And that's important to me because that's a part of ministry. That's also a part of the legacy. It matters to Staten Island that we stand up and say, hey, we're going to give something. We're going to do something. And so it's not just about taking your money and selling you food. We also give the food away. And so the nonprofit organization has, been established, and we do give out food in a food pantry in front of the restaurant. We do give out free clothing. We do drives. For a long time, I just naturally, having over 20 years experience in social services and education, I can walk up to a situation where a whole entire house is burning and take care of 6 families. I took care of 21 people just because I just felt like doing it.
And you know how to do it.
And I know how to do it. And because I desire to do it, because they're a part of the community. They go into those bodegas, they go into those stores, they go into those supermarkets, they go into those schools, and they pour into the community. So why are we not taking care of them?
Talk about the name of the nonprofit. I like the name. So where did it come from? What was the inspiration?
The Lotus Bridge. So the Lotus Bridge comes from a past experience. I did die on 9/11/2020. My family did discover me in my home, and when my family was told that, it was kind of long that I had been out and that there was a possibility that there was no way to save me. They took me to the hospital and resuscitated me, and I had my, in the light experience, and was told to come back after 4 days of being in a coma. And so what I was shown during that time was the life of a lotus. And so a lotus flower actually dies every single evening. Their petals turn over, they turn upside down. And what those petals face is murky water and muddy foundation. And my life story has always been an extremely a hardship, a dysfunction. I grew up in a family where both my parents were chemically abused and were abusive. I grew up in poverty. I had a lot of trouble. I was always moved around. But starting from 11 years old, I always worked a job. I always took care of myself. I grew up in those murky waters like that Lotus Bridge. And when I was resurrected and came to life again, I looked to the sun and just said, hey, I'm going to live my life today. I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to do today to live. So every day is there's a possibility I could go.
I'm so glad I asked that question because I was just intrigued. I had absolutely no idea, and Mike and Dana witnessed that was going to lead to that. But
right.
So talk about that outer body experience. I mean, you said you had died and came back. I mean, that's something we got to talk about.
The outer body experience is like, you see these documentaries on these Netflix shows and stuff like that, and I've even looked up those kind of like people, those international near-death experience institutions and stuff like that. And when I get on the phone and I talk to them, some of them I can kind of like relate to, but they're talking about a near-death situation, and some of them didn't necessarily die.
So they're faking it.
Right. I don't know if they're faking it. I don't want to put it out there.
Fake it till you make it.
You're on the phone. It's like, you didn't die. I died.
Right. I really died. They were like, how is she coming back? So like, I had the premonitions of dying on 9/11 for about 4 years. I screenshot the 9/11 AM and PM in my phone, and I didn't know why I was doing it. The Spirit just told me to recognize the number. I had a premonition about 9/11, the tragedy, on the 10th of September before it happened. And when I told my family, nobody believed me. And then the next day it was attacked. And so I believe that number was significant to me because 9/11 actually represents the spirit of awakening or enlightenment. And so because I had that spirit of awakening and enlightenment, that was those are my numbers. Those are my numeric angelic numbers that I can identify with. And so when they told me, hey, 9/11, they were preparing me for my death. I meditated for 55 days straight to the point where I couldn't hear, feel, see, think, or smell before I died. And that was to like prepare myself. So I transitioned between 9/9 and then 9/11. I don't remember anything that happened to me because I was kind of like already on my way out. But what my family tells me is that I walked around sort of like in a robotic kind of like Autobot move, like
Like when Mike Bloomfield sleepwalks, Nicole finds him in the kitchen, donuts in the freezer.
You won't remember what you wore the day that you died, but what I was told was that I had on all black. I was told what I ate last. I had a bag of chips. I was on a FaceTime phone call before I died. Right before I died, I was on the phone and having the conversation, and my cousin said that I dipped my foot in the tub, and I told her something wasn't right, and then I hung up on her. And so a conversation took place. I ate something. I had something on. An activity took place before I died. And there is power in that in itself, just to say all of that happened before I died. So nobody can do that. You know what I mean? Nobody can say, this is what I wore, this is what I ate, this is who I talked to.
So was the passion for food pre or post
The passion for food was before it. So I had all of that entertainment experience. Charlamagne called my husband when they found out that I died, sent me flowers to the restaurant, to the hospital. Like people were reaching, a lot of different people were reaching out to me that were in the industry. iHeartRadio reached out to me. Everybody reached out to me because they were like, oh my God, no way, the best chef we got, the caterer. Who do we call? You know what I mean? So they called and they responded to that. They were totally taken aback because I was in the healthiest shape of my life when it happened. And what happened to me was incurable and untreatable, and it was actually freak. So they said that, what happened to me could not be treated. They just laid me there in order for me to die because it was going to be impossible for me to come back. But when my cells were regenerating, it was regenerating like somebody had cut off my tail, like I was an alligator. So they did a study on me for probably about over a year. They never gave me my medical records, and that was something that I just decided I needed. I knew that I needed to take that information somewhere else, and that was to take it to people in this world. I needed to take it to people that were living. I need you guys to understand, live your life to its absolute fullest every single day, but be extremely mindful about the things that you put on, the things that you say, and the things you ingest every single day. Because somebody's going to remember it won't be you, and you want to make sure that that thing matters to you, but it also matters to the person who received you on that day.
I don't think we should interview anyone else today. Just put the mic down and walk out.
Well,
Anybody, I mean,
there's more.
Just walk out.
There's more to the story.
Give her a hug first and then walk out.
There's more to the story.
This story is crazy.
You are a giver. You're an incredible
Absolutely.
human being. Talk a little bit. It wasn't the best of times, but what you did for the community after Hurricane Sandy, you fed the neighborhood. You took care of your neighborhood. You stayed.
Absolutely. And so you get into all these relationships with all these these celebrities and everybody in the community that looks up to you and is inspired by you, says, hey, why are you not going to work with so-and-so? Why do you don't leave and go do that? And I say, there's so much more that has to be done here. My children attend the schools here. I worked here. I go to the supermarkets here. Why am I not taking care of the people that are here? And so it is my responsibility, not just with my nonprofit organization. I was doing it before then. Like I said, when those houses burnt down, I took 6 families in. There were 21 people. There were 14 children involved. And I housed them in the Comfort Inn right here in this plaza. And I put them in there. Senator at the time, who was it? It was Diane Savino. She reimbursed me after months of finding out that I had done it. She gave me part of my money back. Why did you do that? I fed them. I utilized every church, every organization that I knew of. I went to St. Philip's Church on New Street in Port Richmond. I said, hey, can I use your kitchen to feed the people that are here? They all lost their homes. You know what I mean? I gathered all in one Facebook blast. I gathered enough clothing to build out an entire donation center.
Wow. That
was Pampers, formula, clothing, shoes, everything you can think of. That thing just happened just by putting other organizations on blast. Hey, you can't. I didn't have a 501c3 at the time. Hey, you guys have 501c3s? Well, what are you doing about these people whose houses burned down? All of these firefighters were hurt in that time trying to save these people. What are you doing for them and their families? Forcing the accountability on organizations is what my job is. So I may not be the Superman who flies in with the cape and takes care of everybody, but I'm going to be the Batman who stands beside I'm going to be the Robin who stands beside the Batman and says, yo, did you take care of them? Because you got a status and you get a grant and you got a building and you get help, so you need to make sure that you're doing what you're doing.
I like that analogy. That's a great analogy.
Right, so I gotta do that.
Mike is loving the superhero.
Except she named all DC, so she playing a card. We know she likes DC.
Dang,
but
I love Iron Man.
All right, there we go. But it shows, an ongoing thing we talk about is the community and how that is what makes Staten Island so different.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have had to put them on blast, but in the end, they came together and got you what you needed.
Yep.
And you don't get that everywhere.
No.
You know, you look at the other parts of the country, it's not the same as it is here. People here actually care about the community they grow up in, where they live, and want to take care of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're just a very diverse community, but we're also an extremely unique community. Staten Island is 13.5 miles long. You know what I mean? We're separated by shores. And everybody has these different ideas, and so you see different things happening on each shore. But what I've noticed, even in my restaurant, is that people just want to experience love. So my restaurant gets more people coming in there from the South Shore than I have from the North Shore.
Well, I admittedly have not been there, but I'm going to make it my business.
That is
The three
so
of us,
okay.
We have
the
to go
three of
for
us are
lunch.
going to come. We're all going to go there. I promise you.
I have seen nothing but good things on Facebook, all over social media.
Thank you, everybody.
The post I see looks amazing.
And where can people learn more?
You can definitely learn more by visiting me on my Instagram page. They're both public, Shawnae's House, SHAWNAESHOUSE. And this is Shawnae. You can also go to our current website, which is saygraceny.com, until it changes over to Shawnae's House. But definitely come in and see me, 381 Van Duzer Street. I need y'all to come there.
We're going to be there.
Thursday through Saturday, 5 to 11.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Don't forget, protect your neck.
We're going to keep this
Respect
going,
the
though.
tech.
We're going to talk after.
Thank you for everything you do.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So who's writing the book?